Cool. We're live. So I was like, yeah, here's all this stuff that you should do. And then I was like, I'm going to go take a nap. and then I started working on it later, and I was like, I'm just really tired.
Yeah.
But I was able to get like this. Oh, hi, by the way, people. We're building an automation system, basically. Today I'm going to build an if this then that competitor, but for work.
I mean, we're learning a bunch of stuff. Like at this point in software, pretty much everything in some way, shape, or form has been built.
Oh yeah, it definitely. It's the learning for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the big plan. Oh man. But yeah, so we were talking about this yesterday, and I built a small like JSON. It's like an internal, like I'm not gonna keep it inside of the system, but I needed to be able to test it. So what does it look like in that manner? I'm really mad that I moved my camera over here now, because now I'm like looking off into
Look
the
at
distance.
your single.
Yeah. But now I wish I could flip these, because then it would look like I'm at least like looking at you. Oh, I can. Sweet. There we go. What happened?
Hang on. I have a different camera such that maybe.
I like it. But yeah, I'm just trying to make sure before I'm working on like too many things at once. I was like, oh, let me share this. Hey, Aaron, how's it going?
There we go. Now it looks like we're looking at each other.
Oh man.
Except this has a ring light on. I don't want that. There we go.
Yeah, we're gonna be all over the place with this one, it seems. Writing tutorials. Okay. Hey, tutorials are fun though. I do wish I could hit like allow and then like change stuff.
Allow infinity.
Yeah, like I need like allow and then like open up things, so I'm not making everybody very confused with what's happening. But so I've got this thing set up. It's the queue manager, and this is a lot of this stuff is just inherited. So like the storage queue client, which I think I just called it auth, which is wrong. It's actually why can I not remember how I set this up now? It's like queue client and then connection string auth. That's what it is. So queue client dot connection string auth. I'm just gonna play around in the REPL for a little bit because I don't need to do that because I have test. And there it is. But the way that this should work is that queue client should. I'm trying to think, because I don't want to type this out because I'm going to mess it up. I know I'm going to mess it up. Can I just duplicate this existing window? Or do I have to actually... Nah, I'll just load it again. Really? Yeah, I didn't like that. It didn't like letting me open the same window twice. Okay. That worked. By the way, I can't see chat, so...
I got you.
Okay.
I'm also on your actual Twitch page, so I can reply to folks.
Oh, nice. But your Twitch chat is so much more poppin'.
I also have that open, so I remember.
Oh my goodness, you're like you got it. You got it down.
When I was doing some of the quantum programming stuff, boy, we had it was a madhouse.
That just amazed, like, you have folks that are just like, yeah, I'm gonna go watch Sarah do quantum stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know what that even would look like.
I mean, it looks almost exactly the same as this. That's the fun
okay.
part.
Okay.
I mean, it's using VS Code. You're using extensions that help, like, provide docs and autocomplete. I mean, it's like if you were to sit down and start writing Haskell, probably is the closest.
I would, yeah, that's
Haskell
not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Sorry, I'm trying to get this.
So this
all
is the
set up.
bits.
What's the bits?
Oh yeah. I will wait until you finish typing. I will probably learn as you type.
Yeah. All I'm doing is providing kind of the setup stuff. I think that should, yeah, see, that. So this is kind of what we're looking at the moment, of having this, like, you have this Q client, and then you have, and the Q client, and see, this is where I'm very confused. I'm like confusing myself, is that you have like the Q client, and then you have like the Q manager. The Q client itself is just the actual storage queue.
Okay.
So I mean, you could do like the same import azure.storage.q and then do, you know, Q client from connection string and do the same thing. I just wanted to have it like all encompassed, so it like you don't have to import multiple things. So then this would technically work. Like, I think if we run, I don't know if this is gonna let me run this. It's gonna be like, what are you doing? Yeah, it's like, I don't, what are you, what is happening? Oh, that's in here somewhere.
12.
Here, this. Oh, yeah, that's supposed to be out there. Okay, now we're gonna play hunt the issue. Oh yeah, colon. Good? Are we good now? Are we good now? No? It's blah blah blah, indented block. Where?
Also,
By the way, this is how I
but you can send a
troubleshoot, is
live
like-
share link, and then I can help.
Oh yeah. Sorry, friends.
Then I can help be a bug squasher.
There you go.
Sweet. I'm cushion.
Oh goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm just terrible at this.
Nah, you got it.
Now if I can. There we go. Were you able to jump in? Oh no, not yet.
I think so.
Yeah,
They call
there's a
me
bunch of
anonymous.
like small issues, and a lot of this is because it's like this got copied from a previous package that we made, so some of the stuff isn't there anymore. Like I don't know what this is calling. It's supposed to be for messaging and something. I think it's supposed to be queue. Passing a queue in, yeah. In queue.receive messages. Also, this didn't pass in self, which is why that's yelling. Okay, so next messages would be, yep, and then you would do your output transform. So you have output transformer, and that's kind of what I've gone to do is like you have input transformer and output transformer. Input transformer handles all messages coming in. I think in our planning I mentioned doing like one versus many. I just changed that to just do many, and if you just have one, you do a list of one. That way it's just one thing. Output does need to be kind of one versus many. A good example of this is when we were talking about the CSV transformer of like if you did CSV out, it would have like if you did CSV out of one, like you could do that, I guess, but it makes more sense to do a CSV output of more than one object, and then it would combine all the keys of all those things. So like, sure, you could do output one of CSV, but by design, it's really designed to do output many. And then other cases, like if you're scheduling, if you're sending out tweets and stuff, like, I mean, yeah, you could do that, but sometimes you're only going to want to do whatever the next one is. And then sometimes you're going to want to do more than one. And while you could, in theory, just do the same thing to where you just create a list and you do the one, maybe that is what we do and just make it easier and just say, always do a max count. And if no max count is, nope, never mind. I'm talking myself in circles now, so I'm just going to keep writing code. But yeah, so next messages should be mini. And then if we looked at the JSON file there, I have transfer one, transfer mini, and I just have some return like yield JSON stuff. Oh, so that's actually wrong. And this was a thing that I have to figure out is who does the enumeration. I think we just do this. The only problem I have with this being a generator, because this is a generator right now. Sorry, what was that?
Oh no, the enumeration for like keeping track of what message, what enumeration are you talking about?
So here I have transform mini, right? And it's interesting because if transform mini is grabbing a bunch of objects and putting them in one JSON output, then it would be like you wouldn't want to enumerate that. You would just want to return whatever the final thing is. So I don't think it's this like iterator here. I think it's like return like JSON dumps data.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't even be JSON dumps data. It would be like JSON dumps and then like this data. That's a list. So it would be like X content for X in data, something like that. Which I wouldn't do X, you do. Something like that, like message content for message and data.
Got it.
But that's why I was worried, because I guess that means that the actual extension itself has to do the enumeration, and then you're just passing that into the list. Because we have here transform mini, I did message content. I don't think it would even be message content. I think it would just be whatever that command is. Why can I not think of that command? Self queue, receive messages, and then you do just the max count. Yeah, our max messages is equal to max messages. Like that. And see there is a bug here, and like I wouldn't know how to delete those. I mean, I guess you would. Maybe you do this like. Output messages are equal to that whole thing, and then in here you
return the transformed output messages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because since you're in a list, it makes sense to, you can keep those then, and then you can do for like that. Or I guess do it the other way around. Yeah, that.
Okay, I see what this does.
Yeah, like that.
God.
Yeah, because you have to. Storage queues don't delete themselves. They just dequeue themselves. So there's that dequeue message of like, if everything is 0, once you pass through that item, it changes that value, it increments that item, so the dequeue count would be 1. So then it basically finds what's the lowest value and then pops from that, and then once you've reached everything that it resets it, basically. So that way you can see how many times the thing has been loaded. By the way, I don't know, are you trying to edit? I think, yeah, you can edit. I think you can. You should be able to edit.
Yeah, I can edit.
Okay, cool.
I can make as many bugs as I want. Right now I'm trying not to, but it is a lot easier for me to read and follow this way, because I can also follow your cursor.
So let me... it's in the way. Sorry, it's in the way.
Let's see. Where were you before? This is a queue manager. Oh, JSON was the one I was looking at.
Yeah. So like the way that you would load this is you have your queue. Well, I did queue client, but whatever. And then you have queue manager over here is equal to.
It's getting kind of laggy here.
Oh, you're in. Oh, we're both in test. That's why.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be a problem. I was following you.
I had 2 windows of test open, and I think when you clicked over to test, it moved it over, which is fine. Like you said, it was more of, I think that's why it was getting laggy. It was because you were like in the window while I was also in the window in another window. So I had like 3 connections going to the same thing. Okay, so with Queue Manager, yeah, the way that you would set this up is you would pass in a client, which I think I called it storage auth, which is incorrect. And I'll change that. Then you have your... Nope, come on. Your input transformer, which would be JSON transformer, and then your output transformer, which would also be JSON transformer. And this would give you the ability to mix and match your transforms. And I do think that this is kind of one of those other questions that I had of like, do we need, should this be like transformers and then you do that?
Yeah, that was what I was wondering.
That would give you the ability to load multiple transformers.
Yeah, because you may want that, like, especially if you were trying to have a multiply input, like if you wanted to add things from multiple different places and then have them all go to tweets or whatever.
The challenge that I have with that though is at the moment, like, how would you do multiple inputs with, I mean, maybe you do like with this send message. You know, if we did Queue Manager send message, you would need like transform in to be equal to something. Sorry.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be in the thing. It should be, yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that should be, it would need to be something like JSON.
Yeah, I think it's fine to maybe for simplicity, we can get it working with just not treating those as a list and just say, hey, this is a way we probably want to change this in the future.
Oh yeah. Right now it only supports like one of each, which means you would need multiple managers, which I don't necessarily think that's a problem. I think you could do like JSON manager is this.
So what would happen if both Q client, like, they'd all be sharing the same Q client?
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's just whoever gets there first?
Yeah.
I mean, you might...
You might run into problems if you want to output to multiple resources. Like if I wanted to create a JSON file and a CSV file, but also send a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. These are the brain questions.
I think kind of by definition it would be hard to have multiple managers. So there should probably be one thing that owns it, and then that manager would know about its different employees.
Are you saying there's too much middle management? What?
I mean,
too much Azure storage queue middle management. Not the actual Azure. So yeah, if we run I'm pretty sure things still aren't shored up. I think some stuff is probably off there. Let me go to json.py and just make sure those are good. This isn't even like we're not doing anything with this other than checking like actual status of stuff. Because that's why these are callables, because you have something like parse array, and I wasn't sure how you would handle passing in keeps bouncing back and forth. If you were passing in what's it called, the like any type of attributes or configurations. because like for JSON transformer, if you have, where was my test JSON file over here? I'll just do that. Like if you have this, well,
Ooh, cool. Bar.
yeah.
Nice. Quick.
I don't know. Copilot, take the wheel.
Duplicate. It literally gives you a duplicate key. What's the common duplicate key? It's just trolling you.
So yeah, if you have that JSON, that's a valid JSON thing, I think. Why is it yelling at me? Oh, it's because these would need to be inside of their own.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
Girly
valid.
boys all the way down. Yep.
Yeah. So, if you were to do something like this, how should this be processed? And the answer is it depends. Because in some instances, this should just be one item. And you're going to pass that one item in, and it's going to output as that one item. And it's all going to get handled at one time. But then if you have something like parse array set up, then maybe this can be that. And these are two items being sent in. And that's where I was like, they're going to be configured. And also, like, when you're doing things like Twitter, you're going to need to pass in, like, authentication stuff and all those things. So, like, how do you do that? And I think the answer there is you configure your extension, then you pass your configured extension in. So, I mean, we could do, you know, JSON equals JSON transformer, and then here you just pass in JSON like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
That way, if you want to do parse array equals true, you're good.
Yeah.
Which this probably still doesn't work. It's probably still going to be upset about something. Re-upset. Oh, well, yeah, there's like some pathlib stuff that...
Just trying to think what's the more... Is processing the entirety of a JSON document at once or iterating through it?
I think in most cases you're going to have to process the entire JSON document. I mean, are you saying process it... When you're saying process it, you mean adding it to the queue? Because, I mean, what I'm doing here is I'm turning it into a data object and then passing in the data object. So you have this like with open data equals JSON load file. So like that kind of solves that issue there.
It's just being treated as a whole thing.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Watson? Good to see you. So like seeing this, I'm interested in... Now I just want to know if this works, because I feel like it should work. I feel like we've covered... Well... 77? Oh. Down here. Me doing something down here. Oh, yeah, because I passed message transformer in. I don't even think we're testing this right now. Or are we?
I don't think so. We could probably...
Oh, we are. But...
Queue message?
I did the wrong thing. Queue message... I did send message over here, but it should be queue message. Because right now we're trying to load data into the queue. which actually makes me wonder, should it be send message or queue message? And I don't think it really matters as long as we decide.
So if the intent is this is going to the queue manager, I would say queue message, because that sounds more specific.
Yeah.
Send,
Which,
I could imagine,
not gonna
in
lie,
either direction.
a lot of the things that are going into this are like, this is the exact same function renamed because it's confusing. Like list messages just calls QPeak messages, and that's it. Because I don't like their naming scheme.
Okay, well.
And that's like this one. It's literally send message, but the thing here is it actually should be. Let me close some of these. Just make some more space. So this is the.
Do you still need a colon at the end of that line?
Yeah.
Okay.
This doesn't need. Does it need the message? It doesn't need the message transformer because it's just going to apply the message transformer there and then do if self input transformer. There we go. Yeah, that.
Do we need a return on the second one then? Or like on 2? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. There we go. You just override it and then you return it.
Yeah. Makes sense. Cool.
Yeah.
Now it's gotta work.
Wait, what? Wait, why are we trying to load Twitter in? Where's Twitter getting brought into this? Get out of here, Twitter! I think Copilot got a little zealous. Also, this queue manager is wrong because this should just be queue, and then that's going to be, yeah, perfect.
Got it.
Wait, what is it yelling about? It's yelling about me passing these callables in. It's like type hinting is hard. And now it just doesn't like. Do you remember how to call these? Like to call an actual class, like a class object? Just pass an object. That's not correct. I know that's not correct. You probably want to be a little bit more specific.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well we made it through. Well, it's not a string because it's a class, but that's why I'm like confused on like what is the type for class. Oh, Miss Hey Jay or hey Laura, how's it going?
And you here, let me just. So the input transformer. What? Yeah. So what class is the? We made like a. I put this here. I mean, I know they're not JSON transformers, but that is currently what we're passing.
The thing that I thought about with this is down the road, you probably want the JSON transformer, you want it to be like from Azure Storage Queue extension, like create this base class, like extension base class.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would just say like, what's up? I just, right now, this isn't really set up to be able to do that. Like from dot source dot, it'd say like extensions import extension base class, something like that. And then I know that doesn't exist, so it's like, I don't know what you're doing. But here, something like that. And then you could do not there, not there. These are,
Yeah. That makes sense.
yeah. And I mean, a lot of this is just for typing, like, but also I think that helps because later on, if we have certain things that need to be defined or have defaults, then you just put them in there and you're off to the races. There was still a question around storage, which I might change to just queue. But you have this like from connection string. Right now, from connection string only has, let's do this, connection string, and then we need queue name is also equal to string, which actually that needs to be below that, which, oh, never mind, I already had it over there. And that's going to be an issue. It's no longer optional. This is what happens when you take a project and you're like, this is a good project. Now let's use this as the basis for another project, and things are just wrong. Okay. That should be good, right? Yeah.
I think so. I'm just
Path is not defined.
adding the stubs to the extension base class.
What happened?
Oh, I'm just adding the stubs to the extension base class.
Oh, okay.
Because it should have whatever implements an extension base class should have a transform in, a transform one, and a transform many. I think at least, right?
Gotcha.
Something like that.
There's a way to. These aren't partials. These are
Abstract base classes?
yes. I feel like that's what this is. But I feel like with abstract base class, that means you have to have those things.
I think you can use a decorator or something to say that. Yeah, so me putting these in here says that you have to, I think, define those. I'm pretty sure there's ways to, because the other thing is then, like, if we wanted to define, like, just attributes that are, if you don't define, like, I don't know, the iteration or the message count or something like that, that would be true for any, like, we can put that here, and then you don't have to see that in the technology-specific implementation of the transformer. So
Gotcha.
basically, at some level, we should kind of use this as a conceptual way to be like, all right, we're going to need access to some sort of counter here. We're going to need access to, should it delete variables, you know, for should it delete or not. This is where we're basically we're defining the interface for these plugins.
That makes sense.
Here.
Okay, cool. Let me jump back into this then.
It's I like abstract base classes.
I like the idea of an abstract based class. I just don't know. I have not played with them at all. So I'm like, I've watched someone do a demo on them, and I kind of get their purpose, but I don't fully understand. Oh yeah, because we passed in path, we don't know. Oh, actually that can't be file. Transform in shouldn't necessarily be file path though, because in
Could be
can
like
be
a URI, a generic URI or something.
So transform in could be some form of data, but data could be anything. Like it could be, I have a Python list, I have a Python dictionary, I have a file name, and basically however the extension wants to handle that data, then it will. Like this is where I was talking about, like if we were to build a series of these, and we have put JSON copy. Now I'm thinking about how much this won't inherit from itself. But like if we did RSS, like RSS transformer, your input is just going to be the URL.
Yeah.
And there's a question about like, should that be defined in the initializer, or should that be defined in I think it would just be in the initializer, right? RSS URL, and then from there we import feed parser, which is why I didn't want to have these in there as a part of extensions in itself, because I'm worried that over time this will just get nasty. There'll be like all these things that have to be installed, like extras. But then you would just do, like, how would you define transform in? Maybe here you do parser dates. So you would look for everything based on a date, and then every time you load that value in, you just provide the date. And of course I'm just trying to like think off the top of my head, like how would I do this to like make something work. You like date-time, and then for transform in it would be, we went to fix it at the same time apparently.
Nope. I'm not touching anything.
So yeah, you don't have parse array, you don't have, maybe you have that. Transform in would be
yeah, so there's an XML document at a RSS URL.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah. And then you would do, you need to create some filter here, and you do like filter. Oh, wait, hold on. Parser filter, maybe that's a lambda?
Yeah. Yeah, it would make sense, I feel like, that you have to say, yeah, what lambda you want for when you initialize the RSS transformer, to say like, I want stuff from today, or I want something.
So yeah, and then I'll put these in a init. They're actually supposed to be up here. So it RSS, there will be a string there.
So yeah, when we create the RSS transformer, we'll need to give it, well, the URL, and we'll need to give it
The filter.
some sort of filter to say
some filter
which
callable
of the things. Yeah.
And then that way, when you do transform in, first you get the RSS body, and then you parser. Well, that's what filter. I can never remember with filter. I think it's RSS. Oh, it is a function first, and then
it's function and then iterable.
Yeah. So that, and that, I guess that would be self. And then yeah, you just yield that item. So then the question would be, and then this is where like having a like keep value, like right now we're being kind of liberal and just saying like just keep everything, but I think that there would be like some idea of saying like you only want to keep the title, the URL, which I mean honestly how you're storing the data, how it sits at rest is kind of whatever. So I would just say to keep it simple, just do this, and then you just do that, and then there is no transform outs. This is a transform in only type thing, unless
So what I'd suggest is we do have them, and then we just put an error that says, this transformer does not support output. Because otherwise then you have these kind of ragged, like, if we're using an abstract-based class to define the interface, like, implementing these with an error is perfectly happy. And then if somebody tries to use it, they'll know why.
Something like that.
I think so.
Transform one, yeah. I could also see the I could see you doing transform mini, because you would like if you wanted to take a bunch of data and convert it into an RSS file and then save that RSS file somewhere. I could see that.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree. We could put a not implemented yet.
It's currently not implemented. And also with transform 1, that's interesting, because why would you want to rebuild the entire file every time when you could append to it? So yeah, there are to-dos to be had.
Let's think about that.
Yeah, because I feel like there is definitely this instance of like, I'm trying to think of an actual example of this. Because my first thought was like, oh, I have a YouTube channel, and every time I publish a video on YouTube, then send this command, or then add it to an RSS feed.
I mean, yeah, doing something like that, or yeah, it's like the Jay is on the internet feed.
Yeah.
See all the things Jay is doing all over the internet.
And currently, the way that I do that is I have this whole other like GitHub action that runs on a cron job that like just checks all the places that I do things. Like it checks my blog, it checks my podcast feeds, and then if there's something new, then add it. Or actually, I don't even think it does if there's something new. It's just take whatever the last thing is and then like rewrite my README to say like, here's my latest blog post, here's my latest podcast episode, here's my latest other thing. But yeah, I think that there could easily be this like Jay on the internet, and it would be if I send a tweet, I would not do that. That sounds terrible. But like if, I update my blog, if I publish a podcast, if I add a YouTube video, there's one RSS feed that handles all the things that I do. And from there, I think that's where you would need this like output function that you would have that would be like, oh, hey, here's this function that gives you the instructions on what to do. If it's that, then add it. Which actually, I don't know if Watson, you're still here, but I think Watson, if anybody, knows exactly what I'm replicating here, because I know Watson, and I know Watson is very, very good with Elasticsearch things, and this is Logstash inputs and outputs to a T. Like, this is like in my mind space. I was like, this is basically the same way that you would like conceptually think about what Logstash is doing. You have Logstash, you have a bunch of parameters that tell Logstash how to interpret stuff, which they call it like mutate, and then you have like input is this, output is this, and you have them. And that's where I was asking about having multiple managers, because that's how Logstash does that, is they have multiple managers, and you're like, this thing goes here, this thing goes here, this thing goes here, and then Elasticsearch is kind of the thing in between that everything goes into. But yeah, I just wanted to, I was like, I don't know if Watson was still in here, but I was very much like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm happy that I'm able to do it. Oh, there we go. But yeah, again, that's a rabbit hole. All the to-dos. But so yeah, that's where I was like, I wasn't sure how to handle the abstract base class. Which did you do that already, or?
Yep. Take a look.
Okay,
so there's
abstract
other
method.
things we can do, but basically, I reminded myself how it worked. But yeah, so we're inheriting from the doing this is more explicit, so we get access to these decorators.
Yeah.
And this says if you have something that implements extension base class, you have to define these. So I could have things in the base class here that I mean, I don't know why I would per se, but I could have things that are defined here that would just, get inherited by later things, but I wouldn't be required to overwrite. Oh, actually, maybe is that why? I don't know.
Dang.
Anyway, yeah. So like the place where I've run into this pattern a lot, which is why I have a lot of familiarity with it, is when you're trying to do instrument control from Python. So like if you have a bunch of different brands of multimeters or power supplies and stuff like that, if it's a power supply, it has to have a voltage output setting, and it has to have like a current, like there's basic properties it's going to have, or methods, and so you define the base class for what a power supply is or what a multimeter is, and then when it comes to the exact brand, like, because all of them handle units differently, all of them do all kinds of other dumb things. Truly, no one can actually implement a standard from any scientific hardware device. But anyway, then you can just call this nice interface, and then the product specific pieces are kind of mostly kind of encapsulated in their own little thing. But there's also ways to add, let me put a link to the docs here, just for folks. Also, I was thinking about what we were saying earlier, and I'm trying to remember the name of the spec or standard, but because this whole editing and loading a whole JSON document is like parsing JSON is slow. So there's a way that different web tools was like a append to JSON document. So it's like an extent, because otherwise you can't really append to a JSON document and know it's still a JSON document unless you do what you had, right, which was a list of JSON documents. But I'm trying to remember. I will Google to see if I had this conversation with someone recently. Which
Is this where we just
talking about
JSON?
the history? I don't know. Also, I might have just lost you.
Yeah. No, I think we had a connection issue. Is this where we would just load UJSON and then go from there, or?
What is UJSON?
It's a faster implementation of JSON. It's like
I mean, certainly faster would be better, I guess. I mean, if we're loading things that are big enough that this is a substantial slowdown for this, I'm concerned. So probably not necessary for what we're doing here, but it was more of the philosophical question we were debating earlier of, do we always process things as the whole JSON file, or do we treat them as lists of JSON documents, and then we read, because you can either have the curly braces at the top level, in which case that is a JSON thing. You can also, as you saw there, the spec is valid if you have a list of JSON things.
A list of individual JSON objects.
And so it's a lot faster to see, hey, it's a list, I'll grab the last one, as opposed to parsing the whole thing. And so there's standards, I mean, not like standards with a capital S, but there's operational models for how people handle.
So it sounds like...
it was like in opposed to CSV. Anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is... Yeah, I feel like there's a... I don't know if it's in the abstract base class, but then it sounds like what we're doing with CSV, or not CSV, with RSS, having this parser filter. I feel like that might need to exist across the board of like, hey, we understand you may not want to do... You don't want to necessarily ingest the entire thing every time. So we need a way to understand what we need to grab and what we don't need to grab.
Yeah.
Which would still require you to have to parse the entire JSON file, but at least you're not ingesting the entire JSON file.
Mm-hmm.
If that, I mean, because I feel like there has to be some filter. There has to be some way to be like, I want to incrementally pull things in, and I want to, like, passing things out, I don't necessarily think is an issue, because I mean, that's why it's a queue. You just load what is in the queue, and then you pop what's next, and it's kind of it. But in terms of bringing things into the queue or adding new things to the queue, you need a way to understand, like, okay, what is the thing that I'm loading into the queue? Like, if you were to do if we were talking about this RSS one, I feel like a common pattern for the parser filter would be, give me everything where the date, I think it would be something like lambda x, that something that's published in the last, not even days, maybe you do like hours 1, something like that, and then you have the Azure function running every hour, so then it would load everything, only load the things that were in the last hour. But again, I don't necessarily, like, right now I'm more like, let's just get the base of it working and then we can add all that stuff. But that's where I was wondering, should parser filter be this thing that always gets passed in, or is always defined? And if so, like, how do you do that? Like, do you define it in the abstract base class somewhere? Do you, like...
I was thinking about that.
As a function or as a method? That's interesting.
Well, this is an incomplete type. Typing line.
Because wouldn't you just be able to do,
would
like,
you want
parser filter that, or not necessarily evaluating it, but like that?
Yeah, you can do that, I think. I can get rid of this.
Oh no, it's just from typing. And then that means that every object has to have a parser filter defined. which you would define in most cases, you would define in the initializer.
Yes. So should that... I feel like that should be an argument then to the initializer of the extension. Like, if you're defining... I think it makes sense to define it where you're setting up the manager itself, right? That kind of, like, that's where you're making the decisions specific to a particular deployment, right? I want to use this RSS one, I want to use this JSON thing. So I feel like it should be something you pass in, like a required input to extension base class. Does that make sense?
I will let you type it because I'm not sure I'm following.
Okay.
Are you saying pass it in to definite somewhere, or?
I feel like, yeah, but let me, I'm thinking about this. Yeah, because I could see if you had a filter set up, say like in the last day, as your demo had.
Yeah.
Or that was the last hour, whatever.
Yeah.
If you had multiple input sources, you might want to pass the same filter to them. And so if you then defined the filter function in your in the manager file, then you would just want to pass that into these other implementations of extensions. So it's not a function, it's not necessarily an attribute of the extension-based class, it's what you need to construct one. Does that
Sorry, my dad was like messaging me and he had just had surgery,
Oh, no,
so I was like,
okay.
No, we're good. I just need you to repeat that.
Okay, no worries. Filters on the input seem like we want that to be required, I think. Can we, or I guess the question is, can we initialize an extension without a filter?
I think the answer should probably be no.
Right.
Even if the filter is just lambda XX.
Yep. So this would be
something like there. I'm just typing stuff in. Feel free to delete all of it. Like something like that.
Yes. Yeah. So it should have at least that in the init. I'll figure out what the right syntax is to communicate that to the thing. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary. It should be something that's passed into the constructor, not something that we're needing to define in the class itself, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it doesn't need to be there. That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yep.
That's fine.
So I'll figure out the syntax to make sure that ABS uses this right, or ABC uses this right. But
yeah, I think
because it's at this point like a partial, right? Like
yeah. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Because we didn't inherit from abstract base class, and there's like a super in there somewhere, like. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I don't remember how that works.
I mean,
we'll have to go look it up. But
yeah, all super is doing is just saying like, hey, do the stuff that has to be done first, and then do some other stuff. Why is this yelling at me? Super doesn't need to be defined. Oh well, also it would help if I did the actual command. Okay, well, it can yell because that's...
Okay, I see what it did. Got it. Interesting.
Is it not Dunder super? Is it just super? I bet it's just super. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just super. I don't know why I thought it was Dunder super, but yeah, there we go. So yeah, if you do that, then that to me makes sense. And then that way, if down the road someone's like that, then it still works. Because if they're like, I don't want to give it a filter, like just grab everything that's coming in, or maybe it's filtering what's coming in already, then maybe that solves the issue. They just need to pass in something, which in our case, we do want to provide the ability to do something, which actually, I feel like we're going to run into some naming collisions along the way here.
Yes.
Naming is hard. We can fix that later. There we go. So I think with that, it should work now, right? What's our test look like? Because I feel like our test is so our JSON transformer changed.
Right.
So this is now we don't need a filter for it. We're just gonna grab everything. What? What? Invalid. Okay, and expected indentation. I was just very confused on why it was like the caret got thrown on the file name. You got an issue there. Where there? Okay, but what? It's an initializer issue, but where is the issue? We don't have that many things being initialized in this. Is it the abstract base class?
I don't know, because I can't. I'm gonna just look at your stream because I can't. The error window is not working for me anymore.
It wasn't working for me. Abstract method isn't defined, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's probably...
Is it like abc.abstract method? Like that?
It probably works, yep. Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for, because I see... Oh, this is RSS. We don't care about that. That's not a problem. That's not a problem right now. We're still getting invalid syntax, but where?
It says just line 1.
Yeah. Oh, line 1 in test. Import OS? I don't think... No? Also, test says it's good.
Well, the only file in Explorer thing on the left is RSS.
And RSS isn't being called.
Yeah.
RSS
So,
has 0 dogs in this fight. And I mean fighter pilot stuff, like Star Wars, not animals, because that's messed up. That's good. I mean, I don't know. Like,
okay, here's my favorite. Comment stuff out.
well, the thing is, I don't know what to comment because the error message is just standard input error.
Then comment out the init thing in the ABS thing. That's the only place we have it. That or the one in extension.py. Maybe
Wait.
For some reason that's not okay.
What does it do? No, I know what the problem is.
What?
Problem exists between keyboard and chair.
Oh.
It like tried to load into. It was like already in an interpreter when it sent the commands inside the interpreter, which is wild.
Amazing.
Relative import with no known parent package. Oh, because extensions didn't have a .py, and then that also needs to exist in. Oh wait, no, that's just extension.py. That's fine.
Relative importing is... I don't know why I always get stuck on it.
Import JSON. Is it because we called this JSON and we're trying to import JSON and importing JSON is a bad idea? So we should call this like
probably
JSON parser, something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Make the changes.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Where are you at? Where are you yelling at me? Where are we yelling? I understand the issue, but I don't understand where the issue is. Okay, but where?
So what's asking for this?
JSON parser .py import JSON, that's fine. JSON file, that's fine. I don't understand. I'm very confused as to where this is yelling at me from.
Yeah, the search says that there's still a... Oh. Okay, now it's agreeing that there is no RS... Oh, wait. Now it's agreeing there's no JSON.py. I'm
just confused on where it thinks there is one. Like, where does it think we're calling this? We're not calling this anywhere. If we go to test.py,
killing the sesh, the little REPL and making a new one.
Oh, does it? Wait, what? There it goes. Stupid callables.
I think it was trying to call JSON.py.
Yeah, I think I was passing in like JSON.py, and it was like, yeah, don't do that. Or I was trying to like say like Python JSON.py. Where are you mad? You're mad here. Why are you mad? Don't be mad.
Must be used as... Okay, so we just gotta type it like that.
That? Oh.
It's got like the... It's like square brackets and then another square brackets arg result. Let's see if I can get there. I think the error message actually told us what they wanted.
And then the actual result.
I think where lambda you have right now is needs to be a square bracket that has arg, comma, dot, dot, dot. Here, I got it. Let's see if I can do this. So that's what they're...
Yeah. But it's saying I don't know what arg is, and I don't know what the... Oh, and the result should be... any, and then maybe that's any as well. And then why is it yelling about this now? It's not allowed in this context. Well, then go away.
I mean, any should handle that.
But then what is this? It wasn't closed, but it is closed. Oh, there it goes. I feel like
is lambda a type in future Python? Like, can't you just say like a lambda?
That's what I thought.
Googling commencing.
No, it did not like that at all. But I think what it's saying is, I think the lambda is itself the callable. But I think that what it's asking for is, what is your input? What are you going to be inputting? And for that, it quite literally is any, because we're at the base level. So
cool.
Parser filter is not defined. What do you mean parser filter is not defined? In a init? I mean, oh yeah, because that's supposed to be an equal sign. My bad. So many errors. Object type ABC has no attribute abstract method.
What? I'm looking at the... Looking at the docs right now. What is... I mean, maybe we have to import it at the top? I feel like I've never had to do that.
Oh, yeah. Is it just...
Import ABC at... Yeah, that...
What are the other?
Yeah, I like this. Then you know explicitly. Alright. Oh no.
Attempted relative import beyond the top level.
I hate importing.
Importing is... Well, yeah, that's just because...
So I put everything in one file. No. I don't split things unless I have a good reason.
Okay. Much better. Much better. Got unexpected argument connection string. That is in storage, which we're gonna rename this to Q. Because, like, for real though, like, I don't know why it's called storage. Well, I do know because I called it that, but
I do know because I'm the one who did it. That's the clip for today. I don't know why I called it this.
connection string doesn't need to be passed in. Why are we? Yeah, no, we don't pass. Like, you intentionally don't pass in the connection string. That's dangerous.
Danger zone.
Wait, what? Why did I call this? What?
We did a lot of refactoring. Let's go back, think through it.
There. I was like, what? Why is there an initializer in this? It's a class method. We're just passing the class. We're saying, okay, if the connection string, there is no connection string, which there's always a connection string. So perhaps, yeah, that. Yeah, because you should be able to pass in the actual connection string to an environment variable, which is like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, which actually here, I gotta go back to this for a second and change. I have something in here that's not correct. But it's an environment variable, so I was like, hey. What did I call this? Azure Storage Queue Connection String? Azure Storage Connection String. Okay. I know that you can see it, but that's fine. This is like a throwaway connection string thing, so it wasn't meant to be
YOLO.
Yeah, well, no, this is literally a storage queue that I created for the sole purpose of doing this inside of a container for the sole purpose of doing it. What? Oh, because where's my, no, connection string, not primary key, connection string. Where's my connection string? I'm very confused now. Because I should have a connection, primary connection string, whatever. Just copy, paste from there. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Your test asks for a con string, right?
Well, that's not the issue. The connection string is that there's a value there, but the connection string that I was loading is I was in Azure Explorer, and it was just I don't know what this is. It's I don't know what you're telling me to make. So I'm just going to create a test AZQ manager.
It's the little deployment bot GIF.
Yeah. Oh, I'm throwing it on the East Coast, I guess. Added latency. Because, the issue was there's supposed to be a connection string, but, when I go to Azure Queue Manager, it's I don't know what you're asking me for, so I'm just going to take my ball and go home. So now I'm all right, let me just copy this connection string, and I know that, that's something that I do wish VS Code would fix, is because of how share mode exists, you can pass in, if you do copy connection string, it throws it in the output as plain text, and I'm I understand it's not the biggest of issues because you can just cycle that thing, but you probably shouldn't do that. All right, now I can go back to sharing this. There we go. So we fixed the queue name issue. we fix the connection string. The connection string is going to look for the default. So I think inside of our test here, when we don't need to pass in connection string. Like we don't need this. And then what we do is we just do .env and then pass in Python test py. Wait. It's yelling at me because it's like you didn't pass anything in. Yeah, see, connection string not passed in or environment. No such file or directory. What are you talking about? There's a .env there. It exists. It definitely exists.
Too many dots?
Yeah. Well, the dots just says
save it. I mean, obviously. Well, actually,
it's saved. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's saying it can't find that file. I wonder. Huh? There we go.
Nice.
Queue manager got unexpected argument queue client. Oh, yeah, because it's just queue. Which again, we could probably clean this up eventually. Unexpected, oh, because I kept the S's in. Yep. JSON
all right,
object
getting close.
must be string or bytes.
So that's when you do the load. There's a...
Yeah, but where is... Oh, is it because I loaded it as...
Yeah, I think it's the option here.
Oh, yeah, because, well, also, what? That's interesting, because I think you have to do like if self JSON file and then do that and then that.
Oh, right, because there's load versus loads.
Yeah. But also we weren't telling it what to pass, so I could see how that could be an issue. Okay, it's doing stuff. I would hope that it would be done by now.
How do we check? Do we go to the portal?
Yes, okay. Oh, nope, it's still doing stuff. What are you doing? Because I'm confused with myself, let me do that first. Like, I don't know where I'm going.
What is this app thing you were using? Storage Explorer?
Oh yeah, Storage Explorer is awesome. Like, if you have, I mean, I shouldn't say awesome. Storage Explorer is good. It allows you to just look at Azure storage, like, objects in general. So if you have a bunch of files, then you can just load it all in. And let me see if we're connected here. Yeah, the reason I was like, let me go in here and start like cleaning this up a bit, because yeah, it gives, if I just log in, it gives like all of the actual storage objects for like the Microsoft whole thing, and I was like, there's a lot there. We don't need all that. Let me do that, and then we can go here, and then now it should be good. No? Oh, yeah, here. There we go. And yeah, test AZQ
Looks like
manager.
there's also a Storage Explorer extension for VS Code.
Is there?
I'm looking.
Oh, I see like Azure Storage, but
Yeah, which I'm looking to see if that actually gives me access to that.
this is like not sure how. I mean, 5 stars, everyone's happy with it, but I don't know how I feel about a third party managing that. Okay. It's still running. What's happening? How about,
Is it waiting for me?
That's what I was wondering, because like, I just want to see, like, is there? I don't think there should be a problem there, but then also, like, where are we like stuck on? I told it send message, right? Oh, wait, no?
Did you install that extension? Because you can actually drill into the resource and find the values and stuff there.
Oh, there's no queue in here yet, so I didn't even create the queue.
Plus a lot.
All right. Oh yeah, that's right. Because most things, the way that these work, they're like, yeah, we're not gonna do anything if you don't do anything. So Q client should have. There should be like a create queue somewhere in there. How do like if self is exists. Just exists. Like what? If self exists, or if not self exists.
I will also perhaps do a time check, and that it is noon.
It is 12:03, so we've been doing this for an hour and a half. I have to drive down to. I have to put in the order for tomorrow as well.
Order for tomorrow.
But I've got time. If you've got time, if you don't have time, then we can wrap up. There's the part of me that is like, I want this to work.
Oh no! That's where I'm at too. Well, if we run too much longer, I'll tell Anthony. Our one-on-one is.
Tell him we're working, and he can watch us work if he wants. Yeah, I think you just do that. Of course, here's where I broke something trying to identify where the
Nice.
No.
Do you need the equal signs there?
It'll tell us what the actual cues are. Well, it was supposed to, and then... Oh, wait, what? Connection string information cannot be retrieved. Oh, yeah, this was, we refactored stuff, so... That's no, we just don't do that. You've seen the equal sign thing, right?
Does that just mean a value? Like, what's the difference between just putting, like you have right there, and without the equal sign?
Oh, I'm about to hit you with some Python 3 somethings.
All right.
So, in Python, if you have an F string, or let's say I have A is equal to 1, right? If I do print F string A, it gives me 1, right? If I do print F string A equals 1. Hold on, I want to see your face. I want to see your face. Aw, you're not as amazed as I would hope.
I'm sorry?
No, it's okay.
No, so the idea is that it then shows you...
It shows you what the actual attribute is and its
So
value.
you don't have to type, like, in the text, A equals, and then
A
curly
bunch of
brace
stuff.
A.
Yeah. You can just do A. You can just do A equals and
Yeah,
then
got it.
gives you that. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh.
Interesting.
And-
Cool. That is
Okay,
nice.
so we got an issue again. It's the same issue. It's the JSON loads thing, though. That's weird. 51. JSON loads. Why is it doing...
Be a load then?
Why are we even in Transform 1? We should... Where... How did we get here?
There is a debugger. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, there is a debugger, you're right. Initialize.py, transform... Oh! In queue message, because I did transform 1, not transform in. So... My bad. There. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, because you don't pass in the message. Way, you would have to pass in the message. Because... Oh, wait, no. Because your input, your message is dynamic. So, yeah, you wouldn't pass in a message. We're so close. We're so close. We're almost there. Oh. Wait.
So we're not successfully getting the messages in the queue yet?
No. But I think the problem is... Why are we... Yeah. We're doing so many things. It's like our test had too many things in it. It's like, why are we passing in this thing? Cannot access message because, yeah. Because message, it should be reading that JSON file, right?
Mm-hmm.
The JSON file is there. It doesn't know what message is because it hasn't loaded message yet. Hmm. Interesting. Should there be like a empty message here? Like that way if we do that, we're like, so if there's an input transformer, ignore the message. Otherwise there needs to be a message. So you would get some value error. Like if you don't have an input transformer, then you need to supply a manual message.
Right. I think that makes sense.
We called it Q message. We changed it to, wait, where are we trying to send message? Q client has no object. That's not true. Or maybe it is, but it's not what we think. Azure SDK for Python Q client.
Go gadget.
Yeah, exactly. Send message. You right there. So
just content.
Oh.
So you'd need to put something in.
Self queue, send message. Content equals that, but I mean that should be the same. It's saying Q client object. Oh yeah. Where's my Q client here?
Definitely getting lost here.
What happened?
There's a lot of queues and Q clients.
Yeah, so in it, this queue is asking, this is like a object that has like the queue name, whether or not the queue exists, and all this other stuff. This queue client is like the Azure storage queue, like object body thing that does stuff. There it goes. Whoa. It did stuff. What did it do? Adding message generator object. Okay. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's going there. It's coming back.
It sent stuff, and it was like, I don't. What you doing? Okay, so my guess here is that the JSON parser itself, it's yielding the data, not returning the data, because of this parser filter. And this is where I was saying that, like, I feel like transform in on this, when you do like Q message, I think this should be like Q messages. Messages could be a list of strings or none.
Okay.
And then you, instead of doing that, you do for message and messages, do that.
Yeah, okay.
And then apparently it just returns none, because unless we do like you combine this and you do a really ugly like return message for, or naming is hard, message for message in this, or no, return that for message in messages. Yeah. And then, like I said, it always will just be like, do more than one thing unless you just really have a reason. Name message is not defined. Message is not defined. Did you mean? Yes, I did. I mean, granted, I'm also, this is going to get deleted eventually, but oh, I did. Where's JSON file path? Where are we at? I'm just gonna look for it. Oh. No such file or directory. Test JSON. Oh, because I called it test JSON in. Because of course I did. No, just test. And then this is I feel like I'm doing this wrong because it should be like if has adder self JSON file, then do a thing, and then same there, has adder self JSON data. That way you don't have to pass them all in. And then here, yeah, you're saying if this value is this, then load that value. Okay, kind of working again. But we're still passing, what do we pass in? Adding message this, okay, that's fine. Queue message, return, send message for message and messages. Blah, that's a lot to unpack there. Oh, it's still doing the, oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one, that's the wrong one, that's the wrong one here. Raise error from none? Is it saying that the specified resource doesn't exist? That's why I said create it. You still following along? Oh, did something happen? Sarah, are you there? Oh.
Haha, yes. I was talking and I just forgot I was on mute. I said yes. It sounds like we're always looking for our resources, aren't we?
We're always looking for resources. But what's confusing to me is client messages in queue, raise error from none. Like, queue client send message, content message, and then when we initialize this, the queue should have been created. So can I go into Azure, go into here, go into queues, and there's nothing? Interesting. If I go into Azure, go into queues here, there are queues. Okay, so it didn't create the queue. Why create queue? Like, do I need to pass something in to create that queue? I don't think I do. I think I just do, create queue, and then it pulls based on whatever the queue client name value is. Yeah, okay, so that's right. Self client create queue. That client should be, it's a storage queue client.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do from connection string here. Are we not return class? There's the client. There's the queue name. Storage from connection queue. I mean, I guess we could, because we're initializing it. It should have been created.
I mean, I could either debug or add some debuggy statements.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, is like where we do. Okay. That's what I was worried about. I'm gonna just throw out my connection string there. That's fine. It's a throwaway for a test. So we created it. And we're returning that class. Class exists.
You need a self to exist.
I'm confused though, because we created this object. Like that's where we are here. We're returning that object there, and queue client. Like I feel like we have all the. Oh no, we haven't. How do I? Was it step? Is that it?
I normally use the graphical debugger, so I don't remember what the PDB commands are. I click buttons.
Queue client has no attribute queue name.
Yeah, so that means somewhere it's not getting.
It's right there though. What? I'm very confused. Oh, wait, no, because we're passing in our client, we're passing in our queue name there, we're defining our client and our queue name right there. And then we're saying if it doesn't exist, then create it.
So do we know if it's going in and creating it there, or if it's already finding it?
Oh, I broke it. 1 second. From connection string, self queue name is equal to test queue. Okay, we have our queue manager. We do. What is this graphical debugger you speak of?
I think. Let me just double check. You've got the little play button when you're in those files. There's a little drop down, I think, next to the play, and then it pulls it up in the VS Code debugger.
I thought you were talking about like there's like some other like thing.
Oh no. I mean, I'm sure there are, but
Okay. Yes. You're gonna make me
Just put
actually-
Python file. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if it got mad at me because I added the debugger in there as well. Because I added PDB in there. It's like, hey, you're trying to debug. You're trying to debug the debug. Don't do that.
I'm sure somebody's had to do that. But...
Where are we at? Where are we at? Test. Debug. Yes.
Why is it just giving it to you in a console here on the side? That's silly. Anyway, don't worry about it.
I feel like the issue is somewhere.
Yeah, like I would put, like, just double check on like lines 13 and 14, somewhere in there, like before you get to 13, does client exist? And then after 14, like just like verify, see if it's actually making the client.
You're saying here?
Yeah, like check if it's there before, check if it's there after, and then we'll be able to see whether this is actually creating it. Because it could be that there's something somehow hanging around before. This is in a debug, so you've got a bunch of terminals.
I'm in the
there.
debug console, yeah.
Does it miss the environment file then?
Import Azure Storage. What? Oh. I know what the issue is.
Oh no, what happened?
It's issue with Docker needs to be running before we can do this, but then like also okay, Docker, come on. Thank you. This is why we can't have nice things, Sarah. Python 3.11.
Oh, I have 3 minutes till my next meeting. We got this.
I think, did the share cut you off too anyway?
Yeah, if it opens in a dev container, that probably would cut me off. Yep, it did.
Yeah. Okay. It's installing things right now. I'm gonna...
So why did 3.11 require this? Or what did you do that kicked it into this?
There's a change in Python 3.11 somewhere that is, I think that causes this issue.
Of needing Docker?
No. My dev container is Python 3.10.
I see.
Yeah, so
It's like...
you're like, wait, why do we need Docker for all this?
I'm being real silly here.
Yeah. Would help if I actually had the thing in there. PDB is not defined. Okay, thanks. We are going to get there. Tell Anthony to help us troubleshoot so you can go to your meeting. Anthony, get in chat and tell us what we're doing wrong. Where am I at? Where am I
didn't know
at?
how to set up the debugger.
Oh, yeah. I have it in here still. So the specify, so it's this class method is not doing what I thought it was doing. So I was pretty sure this would, but I guess there is an easy fix for that. I'm just gonna grab you, save that, and copy paste. Yeah, there it goes. Okay, so are you watching on the stream?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, of course, all my Azure tools are not installed in the dev container. I don't know if that's a thing I should include or not, considering we're developing for Azure storage tools. Maybe it would make sense to be in there. All right. So then we go here. Storage accounts, test queue manager, queues, test queue. So that exists now. No, don't delete the queue. No. No, Azure Storage Explorer. Come on, there we go. Refresh this. Refresh all of this. Oh no, that's test queue. Get out of there. Get out of there. Okay. One here. Refresh. Queues. Test queue. Is there an object in here? There are 2 objects in there.
There.
That said, it did the thing. It iterated
thing.
through the objects, so it added 2 of them instead of doing the, like, adding one big thing.
That's okay.
We did it.
We can work on that.
Yeah. So
Alright.
the next steps would be to push all of that logic into its own package, and then be able to pass that in. And then maybe figure out whether it's worth doing entry point stuff or just saying like, hey, do what we did. I'm kind of okay with either, to be honest.
I mean, you can, I feel like even apart from like pluggable or whatever, using abstract base classes can also be a useful way to just say, hey, if you want to do here, write another package, but just call this, implement this abstract base class. Because that's really all we need. We don't need anything, I think, much fancier than that. We just want to say, here, make sure your stuff, if I call, this function from your class or your transformer, it needs to be there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think starting out we can just say like, hey, we'll build a series of packages that are pip installable, and we'll call them. I've been wanting to call them just AZQM. For like AZ, or you can just do AZQ manager dash JSON dash whatever, and then from there you just pass in that main object.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Is this in a repo somewhere?
Yeah. I gotta delete a bunch of test objects and their keys now.
Sounds good.
But I'll update this and get this loaded in. It's already in Git still. It's already in Git now. It's under my profile AZQ manager.
Got it.
And then I think the big thing now is I just got to get like git ignore and cleaned up, and I got like all these CPython fragments in there now that I got to deal with. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Sarah, for allowing me to just burn through this, even though I was supposed to do all this yesterday.
I think it was helpful. We had a lot of good architecture discussions there. You taught me about the equal F string thing.
I mean, that's a big deal. It's bigger than like the emphasis that you put on it, but like
that's fair.
Some would say it's revolutionary. Sarah's not that person, but
I mean, you already have to type the name that's there in the curly brace, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know, Sarah. I don't know how I can...
It is great.
I don't know how I can...
All right, Jay. We're gonna be done here.
All right, friends.
No.
Thank you for hanging out with us. This has been fun. We will see y'all next time. Are you here next week?
No.
Okay, so maybe you'll just see me. Maybe you'll see me and someone else. We'll figure it out. But until then,
Cool.
see you later.
See you, everybody.